Walaikum salam. Sister Fatima, can you hear me and see me right now, Sister Fatima? Please let me know. Can you see and hear me, Sister Fatima? Inshallah. Okay, good. The sound is clear and I am clear and you can hear me and see me. Okay, good. The sound is clear and I am clear and you can hear me and see me. Okay, good. The sound is clear and I am clear and you can hear me and see. Okay, let me try this again. Hold on. Okay, let me try this again. Can y'all hear me again? I want to make sure you guys can hear me where there is no feedback. Hold on. Let me try again. Wait, where am I? Okay, Fatima, can you still hear me again? Fatima, can you hear me again on YouTube? Fatima, you can hear me, right? Type yes or no. Okay, good. Fatima, you can hear me on YouTube, right? The people on YouTube? Okay, good, good. Okay. Just want to make sure that I got rid of the sound, the feedback. Okay. So I got everything connected there. I told you guys I needed a day off. I apologize. I took a day off yesterday. I didn't do the classes. I needed a day off to reset my brain, and did. I found another way, another program to use that I could stream and get my website together. I had to get it together. So I got Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn. Everybody's here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. TikTok. Give me a second on TikTok. Everything looks like it's groovy. Everybody looks groovy. Am I missing anybody that's not connected? Oh, and I can see all the text chat. Oh, Insta. Let me get Instagram. Text that way. Oh, shoot. Okay, everybody. Subhana Allah. Give me a second. The schedule today, I think it's kind of mixed up. I think Dremali's class is supposed to be, I thought it's now, but have they changed the time? I think he's changed the time today to a different class time. Hold on for a second. And I just got this stream program working and set up. And if he has changed it to 7:30, then I'm going to have to do something quick to keep you guys here, because I went through all this getting this stream set up to work, and it's working beautifully, I think. And I don't want to go through all this all over again in 30 minutes all over again. So let me just make sure that I got this right, because I'm looking at text messages here, and I think he's changed his time again. Lord have a mercy if he did. Um, and if he did change his time again, then what I'm going to do is just give you guys a quiz on my class, because you do need a quiz on what we discussed about paradise. And we have covered so much about paradise. That's what I'll do, is rather than, and that will give me, rather than restarting all this over again, I'll take this to a quiz. Give me a second though, just to make sure that I'm not messed up here with him. Hold on for a second. Okay, inshallah, guys. Ina alhamdulillah. Wassalat, wassalam Allah wa rasulallah. I'd like to welcome everybody to our what I'm going to do is give you guys a quiz, just a brief quiz on what we've discussed over the past a week about the particulars concerning paradise. We've spoken about how paradise, is an entity that exists already. Paradise is an entity created by Allah to represent Allah's reward for those of us who lived our lives in this world, fulfilling the obligations of Allah. For those of us who lived our lives fulfilling the obligations of Allah, paradise represents His pleasure. And we spoke about how on the day of judgment, the first group that will enter paradise, who can tell me, is this statement I'm getting ready to say next, is it true or false? The first group that will enter paradise on the day of judgment will be the prophets of Allah. On the day of judgment, all the prophets of Allah will be the first group of people to enter paradise. Is that statement true or false? What do you guys say? Is that statement true or false? The first group of people that will enter paradise on the day of judgment are the prophets of Allah. Is that statement true or false? Who can answer that? What do y'all think? Type your answers on the screen. True or false? The first group of people that will enter paradise on the day of judgment are the prophets of Allah. Is that statement true or false? Let me see everybody type on the screen. Either true or false. Let me see. Just type true or false. Okay, let's see. We're getting different answers here from all the different platforms. And I am streaming simultaneously on 12 different platforms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different platforms. Type either true or false. The first group of people that will enter paradise on the day of judgment are the prophets of Allah. True or false? Okay, the people on TikTok are typing true. Okay. Let's see the other answers. People on YT are typing false. Okay. The people in my Zoom room, what are you typing? People in my Zoom room, what do you type? True or false?
Can we talk is false?
The people in my Zoom
false.
type false. Okay, people in Amira's Zoom room. And Amira represents the people on the RD group. The people on the RD group, they are typing false as well. The people in South Africa are typing false as well. The people in Australia Zoom room are typing false as well. And good job. The people that got it wrong are TikTok. TikTok, you guys got it wrong. Okay. The people that got it wrong are TikTok. I'm not surprised. Unfortunately, TikTok, you guys have been receiving the wrong information about Islam on that group, because unfortunately on TikTok, you have a lot of people who come from deviant backgrounds who pretend to be people of knowledge on there. That's why I tell you guys on TikTok, be very, very careful who you guys are taking your knowledge of Islam from. You have a lot of Shiites on TikTok and a lot of Sufi Muslims on TikTok. Both of them groups are of the 72 that will be, unfortunately, in the hellfire. Yeah, you have 2 people on TikTok that's got it right. The rest got it wrong. Okay, can anybody explain why the prophets of Allah will not be the first group to enter paradise, and give me the evidence. And when you give your explanation, include dalil. Remember, whenever we speak about the religion of Islam, we have to provide the evidence from Allah. Allah is the one that has clearly defined this religion to us through the example of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Can anybody explain why it will not be the prophets of Allah? Anyone like to take the mic and explain why from my Zoom room? You can use the microphone in my Zoom room to explain why. Anissa, can you explain it to them? Straight to the point without filler blasting? I'm sure you can. Or would somebody else from my Zoom room like to explain it without filler blasting? Make it short, simple, based on what Allah says in the Quran and the authentic hadith. Anyone else? Okay, my RD group is typing long sentences. Okay, brother Andulacio, he is typing. He says the reason being is because Allah tells us good job, good usage of hadith. He says, he quotes the hadith, good job. We are the last to come in this world, but we will be the first to come in the hereafter. Okay, our group, good job. Let me explain that for him. Our group, we are the last nation to come in this world, but we will be the first to be judged in the hereafter. We will be the first nation to be judged and on the day of judgment. Okay, and we will be the first to enter paradise on the day of judgment. Oh, he got another hadith here too, a long one that you can find in Bukhari and Muslim. I'm going to summarize what he's running out of space with the copy paste with. Exactly, the hadith. Whereas the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam went on his night journey. Okay, all right. And he was the gates of paradise were the angels were told to not open the gates of paradise for anyone before him. Okay, the gates of paradise will not open for anyone before him. He will be the first to enter, followed by Abu Bakr. Remember that hadith? Followed by Umar, followed by Uthman, followed by Ali, and then the forerunners. Good job, brother. He's copy pasting all those hadiths we went over. Okay. My best student, Sister Isra. By the way, Isra, your content, your Somali content is wonderful. When I die, guys, make sure y'all follow her and look at her content. She'll be the one to take over after me. She's my best student. And she carries herself with dignity, humility, and balance. Her dawah. All right. She said the Prophet sallallahu, that's the hadith, said that we are the last nation, the first nation to be judged. That's the hadith. The Prophet will be the first to enter paradise. There's the hadith she's putting up there. Exactly. All right. You Somalis, follow her and listen to her in your language. Explain those hadiths to you. All right. And also, so we will be the first. The first person to enter paradise will be the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, followed by his nation. The other prophets will not, they will stand before their people and be judged after us. So what about this? Will there be any Christians in paradise, guys? Will there be any Jews in paradise? Will there be any Buddhists in paradise? Was there even a prophet named Buddha? What do y'all know about that? Okay. Who can answer that question? So can we say that there'll be Christians in paradise and Jews, since the other prophets will stand after us and be judged and all of that with their people? How do we explain that? What do you guys say about that? Sisters, Selena said there will be Christians and Jews in paradise. What do y'all say about her answer? Sister Selena said, yes, there will be Christians and Jews in paradise. What do you guys say about that? The fact that the other prophets will stand and be before their people and be judged after us. Can we honestly say that there'll be Christians and Jews in paradise? What do y'all say about that? Can we say that? You guys agree with her answer? She said yes. Sister Mina on TikTok said, no, we cannot say that. Why not? She said, because none of the prophets were Christians. None of the prophets were Jews. What religion were the prophets? She said all the prophets were Muslims. She said they were Muslims. There were no Christians or no Jewish prophets. Where's your Dalil? Who said that? Can anybody tell me, where does that come from? Who said that? Who said that there were no Christians and Jews? Where does that come from? Okay. Okay, good job, Brother Bilal. Good job. Allah says that. There were no Christians. There were no Jews. All the prophets, their religion was Islam. Islam is an Arabic word that means submission, total submission to Allah. All the prophets of Allah were Muslim. There will be no Jews. There will be no Christians, no Buddhists. Allah doesn't tell us anything about a prophet named Buddha. This is some stuff that some Sufi made up. And Allah didn't mention no prophet named Buddha. Allah doesn't mention nothing like that. All the prophets were Muslim. And so, who will enter paradise behind them? The people that were with them. Those people that were with those prophets when those prophets were alive will be judged with them. Not none of the people from this world. Does everybody understand? Exactly as the Muslim here on TikTok type. Those that followed their prophets had their laws to follow. Everybody understand? Like the person on TikTok. That person on TikTok got it right. Those people that were with those prophets when those prophets were living on earth. Those prophets, those people that were with those prophets when those prophets were alive on earth, though they will stand behind those prophets and be judged with them. And will enter, we're not judged with them, but will be judged behind them and enter behind them. Not people living today. Anybody that came after the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We have to remember this. Any human being that was born after the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, has to have been Muslim. Any human being that died upon a religion other than Islam, it will never be accepted from them. Does every Muslim understand that? Allah does not accept any religion other than Islam from any human being that was born after the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You died upon any religion other than Islam after the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you're doomed to the hellfire. Y'all got that? And so we talked about some of the particulars of paradise. Well, sisters, Selena, Islam doesn't allow men to marry outside of Islam. There's a lot of conditions that come with that. A Muslim man can't just marry a woman outside of Islam. A Muslim man can only marry a woman out of Islam, number one, if she's chaste. Number two, her heart, she has to be on the verge of converting to Islam. A lot of these men are marrying women and their marriages are not lawful. The Prophet Muhammad never married a kafir. All his wives were Muslim, and the original companions didn't do that either. So you just can't say, I'm gonna marry you because you say your religion is Christianity. No, that's not how it goes. The woman has to be on the verge of becoming a Muslim, number one, and she has to be chaste. She can't be a woman that's having sex. She can't be a woman that's drinking and partying. She can't be a woman that has no interest in Islam, nor can she be a woman, who is not religious at all. So a lot of these, there's conditions that come with that. So Allah didn't say you can marry any woman you want to that claims she's a Christian or a Jew. That's not what Allah says. So again, we have to remember, we're living in the days where people make a ridicule of Islam. Most Muslims today are not practicing Islam correctly. So Allah didn't say that. Remember, the Muslims today are away from Islam. You got men marrying women who are kafir, who don't believe in Allah at all. You got men marrying women today who don't believe in Allah at all. Their marriages are not even lawful. You got men marrying women who are tramps, prostitutes. This is illegal. Drug addicts, and all other kind of stuff. Those marriages ain't lawful. Women who hate Islam, those marriages ain't lawful. Allah didn't say the men can marry them. But that's a different class. We're not talking about the lawful and the unlawful. We're talking about aqidah. So Allah didn't say men can marry those women. Those marriages ain't lawful. Most of these marriages are not lawful. So don't blame it on Islam. Blame it on man. Remember, the female devils. Men are messed up due to social media. They're not supposed to be sitting up here looking at videos of women anyway. All right. That's the kryptonite. That's the kryptonite of the male. So we talked about rivers, streams, and all of that. Paradise consists of rivers, streams, levels. How many gardens? Is paradise one garden? Is paradise one big garden? How many gardens are there in paradise? Is it just one big garden?
There are many gardens in paradise. And I'm not feeling good.
Oh, okay.
I'm not feeling good.
Let's try to keep this based on the class.
Okay.
How many gardens are there in paradise? That was her answer. Anybody else? Are there any other questions? Good job. Another answer too. Good job. Exactly. Only Allah knows. Good job. And then CC said too, oh, it's only thousands and thousands. Good job. Only Allah knows how many gardens there are in paradise. Good job. Thousands and thousands. Good job. Many gardens. And this is another misconception that many Sufis have you believing, that paradise is just one big garden. No, it's not. Paradise consists of many, many gardens. Only Allah knows the number. Only Allah knows the number. Good job, people. What about this? Do the gardens of paradise go up or down? Do the gardens go up or down? We talked about hell. The levels of hell go down. So are the gardens of paradise like the gardens of hell? Do they go down or do they go up? Do they go down or do they go up? Who can answer that? Do the gardens of hell go down? I mean, do the gardens of paradise go down like hell or do they go up? And who can tell us why too in their answer? Good job. Everybody's typing up, up. Good job. Good job on FB and YT. Good job. They go up. They go up. The gardens go up. And why do they go up? What does going up represent? The gardens going
The
up.
higher the garden, the greater the reward.
Good job. The higher the garden, the greater the reward. The more rewarding, the more rewards you get. The higher the garden, good job. The greater the reward, good job. And also the closer you are to Allah. Good job, Brother Marar. The closer you are to Allah too. Walaikum salam, Sister Sadaka. Good job. The closer you are to Allah as well. And we talked about how there's a certain supplication that we make after we hear the adhan. And if anyone who makes that supplication, it brings a reward. What's the reward that comes from making that supplication after hearing the adhan? Can anyone tell me? And by the way, let me I'll be, call Dremali too and let him know that he can join, because I didn't know he changed the time today. Lord, we can't be changing the time like this because it messes stuff up. And I don't want to redo this stream. And I don't want him to think that I done knocked out his class. Where's his phone? Hope he picks up. And just come in. Walaikum salam. Yeah, I didn't know that you changed the time to 7:30. But this is the new thing I got working. I didn't want to stop it and mess up. So just come in and I'll stop talking. Yeah. It's working really nice. Yeah, just come in Zoom and I'll just stop talking and give it to you. Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Okay, guys. All right, Dremali's getting ready to come in. I just wanted to keep it going. I didn't want you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, assalamu alaikum, sister.
Oh, alaikum salam. Okay, there you are. Yeah, I just didn't want to stop it because it's working and it looks good, and I didn't want to restart it.
The camera is not on.
Okay, hold on. It's me.
Like a Q&A?
Today, yes.
Yeah.
Today, yes.
I just didn't want them. This is the new thing, the new program, and it's really nice. And I didn't want to restart it. Okay, there you go.
Clear?
Yeah.
Okay, sister, inshallah. So, inshallah, few minutes will be on, inshallah. 5 minutes. 5 minutes, inshallah.
Okay, great.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Okay, guys, so everybody can see we're going to be doing this. This is going to be a special lecture with Dr. Ibrahim Dremali, who is one of the directors here of Sunnah Followers. And we got Brother Mohammed Ziedeh. This is for the Muslim youth, and a special lecture they're doing. And alhamdulillah, we're using a new streaming program and it's working so nicely. And we're on all the different platforms so everyone can see. And I didn't want to restart the stream because this is my first time using it. And we're streaming all over the world on about how many platforms is this? This is 13. And it looks really great. And the time had been changed for this class. I just didn't want to mess up this string. It's so nice. Yes, Brother Bilal. Yeah, this is Brother Mohammed Ziedeh with him too. Yes, this is going to be a good one, inshallah. And yes, we're on the TikTok program too. Yeah, you guys on TikTok, y'all can see nicely. Yeah, you like it too, Sister Sadaka on TikTok. And for those of you on TikTok, as you guys can see, it's not much fitting on there because I got robots in there today. I'm streaming you guys on TikTok. And I took a day to I got some scripts made, and I'm using 2 robots, which is making it a lot easier to filter out a lot of fitna. Yeah, this is something new I'm trying for that program. Yes. Yeah, this is very clear. And you guys said the sound was great too, right? Mm-hmm. Yes. And for that last question, yes, the reward is intercession of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Whenever you make that supplication after hearing the adhan, the reward is intercession. Our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is guaranteed to intercede for you on the day of judgment, inshallah. Anyone who recites the supplication after hearing the adhan. So we have everyone in here on we have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have Twitch, we have Rumble, we have LinkedIn, we have YouTube, TikTok. What's this one? I'm getting ready to add some more. Hold on. Instagram. Do you guys see me on Instagram too? I should be on. Do you see me on Instagram, Sister Awa? I mean, it should be on Instagram too. Yeah. Yeah, I see it. There's Instagram. It's everywhere. Oh my God. Okay, yeah, we're good. Oh, one more I didn't add. Let me add it. I'm going to add Kick. Y'all want me to add Kick? Hold on, let me add Kick. Okay.
Well, 12 circuit. It's actually going pretty fast. Assign her to the bed. Okay, guys. All right, well. It's 2. And I finally got Coraline too. I probably make Coraline with this, right?
Okay, let me add. Okay, let me add Kick. Yes, add cake.
Sister Layla, you there?
Yes, you guys. Okay, that's good.
Sister Layla.
Yeah, she's here.
Yes.
Oh, no, okay. No, we have 1 minute, inshallah. 1 minute. 1 minute, inshallah. الله. بعدين ان شاء الله بعد المحاضرة ان شاء الله. Sister Layla there?
Yes, we're here.
Okay. We're gonna start now.
Yes, okay.
So let me share it first, inshallah. Okay. And then my phone on now. والله إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شر سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Sister for Sister Layla and everybody. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Layla here is the first time we do it in the Musalla here in the Salam, and inshallah we have a lot of brothers here. Normally every Tuesday we have a class, and the brother Bashar called. So we came, me and brother Mohammed, alhamdulillah. Brother Mohammed, assalamu alaikum.
Salam, rahmatullah.
Always.
I was waiting for the salam. So.
As we see brothers and sisters, Sunnah followers and we here, brothers here, we more 2 years now we speak about how to fix our household, our kids, the masajid. And brother Muhammad, as I mentioned before, he go to synagogues, to the churches, as school also, Muslim school and non-Muslim school. And we visit many houses. Actually, first time we finish a few houses to fix the problem in the household. The question here, the first question, inshallah, when we visit the houses, we visit the houses, we feel some problems in the household. Sometimes the mom, sometimes the father, and mostly when they call us because of the kids.
Well, they call us at the last minute.
This is the problem.
When it's past its breaking point, right?
Right, but this kind of problem, we try to fix it, especially school very soon is open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
School's about to start in 2 weeks. I
Yeah,
think,
2 weeks. Some school 2 weeks.
Anybody here going to
3
school?
3 weeks. Yeah.
2-3 weeks,
Yeah.
right? I think in
Yeah,
August 10th.
you are. Yeah, and also some people actually in Nova University.
Yeah.
There is no sub.
Yeah. I was actually just there in Nova.
Yeah, but brother Muhammad, with this question here, how with the same problem repeated again? We visit the house, we repeat the same. Especially now, how can I fix the problem? Are you specialist about?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest issues that a lot of times we see in the house, you and I, when we go to these homes, is a lot of times we don't want to look into ourselves and see that we're doing something wrong.
As an individual.
As an individual, we're always trying to blame the wife, we're always trying to blame the husband, and we talk about this a lot. It's hard to be a man right now, right? It's tough to be a husband. It's tough to be a dad. It's tough to be a man. We're being like pulled in so many different directions outside of the house. And when we come into the home, we have this notion of like, we just want to have that calmness. And I think a lot of times when things don't go our way, we take everything that's coming on the outside, we bring it in the house.
Oh, that's a problem.
That's a big problem. That's a big problem. I think a lot of times, especially when we talk to the parents and the fathers and the mothers who work, we have to kind of teach them how to and show them how to kind of leave whatever's happening outside out that door.
But something very important, brother. We mentioned sometimes even we visit the churches and the synagogues. Actually, by the way, my second language Hebrew. By the way, so
if he starts talking Hebrew, don't.
Yeah. So the problem is a gap between the kids and the fathers.
A big time back
and
then.
this kind of gap, actually, I believe, of course, Brother Muhammad, by the way, he worked with the sheriff. He worked with the sheriff in charge, and he's specialist about all this kind of problems. That's why I'm asking him, inshallah. With this kind of gap between the kids, and normally, if I have a son, daughter, I want my son to be best of the best, better than me.
Of course.
But it still have a gap. I'm talking about Muslim community.
You talk about Muslim. We could talk about, and all the communities have the same problem. It's not just our community. I think we have a passion for our community because we love our people, right? So we talk about the Muslims more because we want our Muslim. We know Islam is there, like it's the top of the top. So for us, it's like we should, Islam, the book has every answer to
Yes.
every single thing.
Yeah.
And I think that we noticed that we have these parents who are so educated in the deen and they know how hadith more than we do, but they don't really understand them to what they really need, and they don't practice what they're preaching. When I go to other places, they have the same exact problems as we're having, right? The dads just put everything on the moms, or when the kid does good, oh, had ibni, that's my kid. When the kid does bad, oh, that's my wife's kid. That's her problem. How many times have we seen that? I mean, even myself, right? I do that sometimes too. When my kids do something wrong, I'm like, oh, that's the wife's side of the family, not my side of the family. And so we have this, thing that we think is just our dads, our sons, our families, where it's a worldwide issue.
But we know the problem, the gap, but we have to fix the gap.
And that's the other thing too. We have to understand that we're in a different generation, right? Like it's a different time. My dad never played ball with me or did stuff with me or did things because he was constantly working, right? It was a Monday through Sunday workload. Now we have these kids who require us to be there, right? And it's hard. And I have to tell parents all the time, it sucks because we actually have to be there for our kids and explain things to our kids, especially now when our kids are getting ready for the public schools, right? I'll give you a prime example. My kid's going to ninth grade soon, right? He's going to go to ninth grade. He's going to go to these schools, and I have to now explain to him what you're going to learn in school and let him understand that this is the Islamic real stuff compared to what you're going to learn in the school. Like if you know public school, yeah, and unfortunately, we only have one Islamic school has a high school, but it's so far away that it's not feasible for me to take him over there. And he was in an Islamic school for, all of middle school.
That's very sad.
And so, and so he has that, inshallah, that foundation, right? From between the Islamic school, his mom and dad, we hope that we put a foundation on our kids that has that strength in Islam.
Yeah.
And it's now we have to now manage, okay, look, this is what you're going to learn. This is what they're going to tell you about Muslims. This is what you're going to hear about you.
As an individual, as a parent.
As a parent, this is what we have to start to do now as a father, because I think it means more coming from a father than it does from a mother.
Yeah,
right?
It is more.
Yeah, it means more. Plus, we teach our kids how to be a man, right?
Yeah.
You teach my kid how to fight. I teach my kid how to defend himself. I teach my kid how to answer back when a teacher says something or when a kid says something to you, how to respond in the right way where you're not getting in trouble, but you're also having the right to defend yourself and to answer things back. And I think we don't do that a lot as parents.
Yeah, but also something now we are in summer.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of our kids right now, the iPad, the cell phone, internet. Yeah. And we talk about it, but now we are 2 weeks or 3 weeks, the school started. But how really to control our household, by the way, I'm talking even father and mom.
Yeah. I mean, how many times we walked into the parents' houses and you see the mom on their phone and the dad on their phone,
exactly,
and the kids are on their phone, and then they're wondering why they're not talking to each other.
But I believe they try to, by default, destroy the house by default. They of course, have no intention to do that.
Yeah.
But really, how to control the parents, number one, and the kids, especially school, very soon open.
Mm-hmm. It's funny because
and by the way, we have university here also.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's what's funny is there's like simple answers to these things, but it's a lot of work to do as a father.
As a father,
it's simple. I can tell you as a father, I'm going to put my phone down and then tell my kid, hey, let's do this. Come on, let's go here. Let's go. Let's do that.
Why you say father, not mom and dad?
Because at the same time, I'm talking more about the fathers. I think we have to have more dads involved with our kids at this, especially at our son's age, like at a 15, 12, at that age when our kids are getting to that puberty mark, we need to be more explaining to our sons what's happening, right? We have to be more involved because mom can't really talk to a son about certain issues, certain things, just like a dad can't talk to his daughter about certain things.
Brother, Sunnafar was here watching us, thousands here. Listen, a lot of moms have no father.
And that's also the rough part. If you're coming from a single mom,
yes,
then you have to play both roles
as a mom.
And it's
that is for them. They have no sister here.
Mhm.
for here.
Yeah,
What-
for here, I'm telling you, you have to play both roles as a mom to
But it's not
really.
easy for them,
It's not
huh?
easy. It's not easy. That's why I said it's easy to say, but it's hard to do.
Give us a solution.
It's hard.
Yeah,
It's very,
we
very.
need solution here.
You know, the way we talk to our kids at certain ages, right? We always talk about how like, you know, every age is a different way of communicating, right? If your kid is a 5-year-old, you're not going to talk to your 5-year-old like he's a 20-year-old or like he's a 15-year-old, right? If your kid is 15 years old, you're not going to talk to him like he's a 5-year-old. You have to kind of
Mm.
understand what age your kid is at and what issues they're going to be hitting up now coming from the summer to the next school year. And also understand what your kids are watching online, right? If
Very important here.
yeah, and I think a lot of times our feeds, like me, my kids, my wife, like we see the same things on our social media, so I'm able to explain to them what they're seeing.
But the kids actually have the cell phone
Mhm.
and Wi-Fi in their hand, iPad, internet.
I think one of the worst things that we've seen in the last couple of years, not just in the Islamic in the Muslim community, but all the communities that I go to, is that these kids are given the power of the world in their hands, and then they go in their rooms, they close their doors,
Oh.
and parents aren't really seeing what they're doing. And that's not just our community. It's a whole like our Broward County is having this problem where parents, then you explain to the parents, you know, hey, you know, don't let your kids take their phones upstairs. Don't let your kids use headphones when they're playing video games. Hear what they're saying, hear what they're doing.
But the kids, what about adults like this age? You see?
Yeah, the same thing.
Ayman and Amin.
You would, yeah, but you would think at their age, at the age of like 20, 25 years old, you should start to know and realize what's right, what's wrong, what's fake, what's not, what's real. And, you know, we talked about the age of, what is it, like 40? When you hit that mark where you start getting closer to your deed, you
Yeah,
start getting
yeah.
closer to your,
Allah said that in the
yeah,
Quran.
it's in the Quran. And so,
No, it's not very important.
Mm.
We visit houses with the teenager,
Mhm.
controlling the household, controlling mom and dad, especially with the cell phone. And we have actually people actually in our community
Mhm.
here with the phone. They take the phone from the mom. He hit the mom and dad.
Mm. So there's a level of control. When you talk about control,
How?
it's a matter of the parents needing to understand and kind of really assess what they're going through. So that's why when we go in the house, when we listen, well, how long does it take us to understand what's really happening in the house?
Yeah.
Right? Maybe 30 minutes to an hour after hearing
To listen.
to listen to what's going on, you start to say, okay, I see what's happening. Okay, I see
Yeah.
what's going on. And really taking somebody's advice, you know, a professional person's advice on what's happening in your house and how to fix it. Right. So when we go into these homes and we tell the mom, hey, I know what you're saying. I see where you're getting this, that you heard from a sheikh TikTok told you this, and now you're thinking this type of way.
Yeah.
And where you hear the guy who talks and talks like, yeah, you saw Sheikh Google told you this part and you think that that's true. And so really talking to the parents about understanding what you're seeing, whether it's true or false. How many times have we told the community out here, you know, go to a trusting imam or a trusting sheikh if you see something online, if you hear something online,
Yeah.
you know, go to a sheikh, go to somebody in your neighborhood to really, hey, sheikh, is this true? I mean, we've seen a guy who says, oh, Islamically speaking, it doesn't say it's haram to drink alcohol. Well, he found it on Google and he found a sheikh that said it's not haram to drink alcohol as long as you don't get drunk.
Yeah.
And you can find any sheikh that they will tell you it's okay to eat pork as long as you're not eating a certain type of pork.
Don't we actually we visit houses, and this is for everybody here.
Mhm.
Listen, we went to the house and there was jinn there. The jinn.
Yeah.
With that-
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. I don't want to scary
Yeah.
stuff.
My point actually, a lot of people
Mhm.
doesn't believe in jinn. Allah created the jinn to what? See the Muslim jinn. Allah mentions the sort of jinn in the Quran,
Mhm.
but also a lot of the whispering or problem, anxiety. The jinn come to the house, destroying the house. In fact, the family themselves
Mhm.
bringing that the jinn to the house
Yeah.
because not believing in, especially the Quran.
Well, you have to ask yourself too, when we walk into these houses and you have a TV on with music blasting, you have the guy in his room with his radio on, and you see the girl in her room dancing to her music, and you
Mhm.
see all these things, and they walk into their house with their shoes on, and you see all these things, and you're just like, dude, you're bringing in
Yeah.
the jinn into your house, and you're allowing all this stuff to happen, and then you're wondering, why is my kid doing this, or why my kid acting a certain type of way? I never experienced the jinn until I met you, and then you scared the heck out of me with that stuff.
Sitting for us very important here. A lot of bringing voice, the ruqya in somebody making ruqya in the phone to listen to the ruqya, and they think that the ruqya remedy.
Mhm.
This kind of phone or a person not in the household or a sheikh, this is a fake. Then people actually they try to teach you how to make it ruqya.
Mhm.
It's not you listen. Okay, that's it. There is jinn outside. We have to be careful. We have to be
You
careful.
need a professional.
This kind of you listen to the ruqya, listen to the Quran. Beautiful to listen to the Quran, but that is not a ruqya, not a remedy, not a cure. You have to do it, or somebody specialist to do that for you.
100%.
You have to be careful because a lot of people should never call me and touch me about that. Anything you listen to ruqya is not affecting you. Even Surah Al-Baqarah. Surah Al-Baqarah, you have to recite it or to listen to it if you cannot know, if you know Arabic.
100%.
To listen to Surah Al-Baqarah, not to think the ruqya, you do it yourself or somebody specialist about that.
Mhm.
Very important to know for us, please. Yeah. Yes, brother. But summer, I mean, the schools come very soon. A lot of our kids now, we visit, they sleep after midnight
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
I not even wake up my kids for Salat al-Fajr. I mentioned that with Khutbah al-Jum'ah. The key is how to prepare my household, regardless of the kids or high
Well,
school, or
adults,
that,
yeah, everybody.
to wake up actually to prepare for school is coming open soon.
Well, we all, we talk about this kind of stuff too during Ramadan, right? When Ramadan's
Yes.
about to start, how do you get ready for Ramadan and
Correct,
how to,
yeah.
like, especially with me with caffeine, with coffee, right? I have to
Yeah.
know now, okay, now I have to reassess my timing when I drink my coffee. And so the same thing applies when you're about to go to school or about to return to school. At least in our house, it's a matter of, okay, now 2 weeks are coming back from school. A lot of times our kids, the last couple of weeks, there's no more summer camps, right? So the cities and we talked about that before summer, where I told
Yeah.
the parents, go to your cities. There's so many cities that have summer camps that are $5, $10, $20, cheap summer camps where, you can let your kids go someplace.
Mhm.
Now the summer camps are shutting down. And what are we doing now where we're giving our kids the cell phones, we're giving our kids the tablets. Okay, you got 2 more weeks left before school starts, play on your tablets, play on your phones. And so we now have to start to say, okay, we have to start little by little. Okay, now 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock. You start to slowly minimize the usages and then turning it off, and then start to say, okay, I have to fill in that time gap with something.
Mm.
Or I got to fill in that time gap with something. Okay, let's talk about you're going to 10th grade, you're going to 11th grade. Are you ready? Because a lot of times I think what ends up happening is our kids for the summer lose a lot of the stuff they've learned the year before, right? I think we've all heard that before, where our kids lose a lot of their knowledge from what they've learned in the previous school during the summer.
Yes.
Because they're not doing anything. They're not reading, they're not writing, they're not doing any math, they're not doing anything. So they're just, they're just sitting down playing or doing whatever. A lot of our kids traveled, right? They went to the Middle East, or they went back to their countries, or they went other places. So they're not really focusing on any type of studying. So they lose all that. So now it's like, okay, last 2 weeks, we're gonna shut the phones down, we're gonna shut the tablets down
As a parent.
as a parent, as a family.
Mm.
As a family, not just you telling the kids and then you're going back on your phone and you're looking at your phone.
Uh-huh.
You can't be a hypocrite, right? It's not do as I say, not what I do. It's let's do this together. Because even as a parent, you're now gonna have to either take your kids to school, you're gonna have to wake up early with your kid. So now you have to also put yourself back on the schedule, right? So we tell the parents all the time, and I tell the parents, it's a matter of, okay, now your kid goes to bed at 12 o'clock because it's the summertime. But now your kid has to wake up at 7 o'clock for school. Is going to start to have to wake up at 7 o'clock. Let's start to really, 30 minutes, hour. It's like any type of thing. You got to like really slowly wind your kid down from 12 o'clock to whatever time you think is a good time, whether it's 10 o'clock or 9:30, whatever the age limit of your kid is, or the age of your child is, because every kid is different, right? Like we said, you can't treat a 5-year-old like a 15-year-old, and you can't treat a 15-year-old like a 5-year-old.
That I mentioned before, Ali radiallahu anhu قال خاطب الناس على قدر عقولهم.
Absolutely.
Speak to the people according to their mentality.
100%.
Yeah, but the question here.
And that what you just said applies even in my work, right? When I was working in the jails, when I'm working with criminals, it's whether I'm working with juvies or working with adults. I kind of track the age limit of what my people are to the age level, right? I talk the way their gap, their age level is, right? And that's how you kind of de-escalate, educate, and do prevention with that different age group, right? And the way you talk to that person in that level of the way you talk to that person,
Oh, yeah,
according to that level,
regardless what age.
regardless of what age. But you have to know that capacity of
Mm.
that person. Or if I'm speaking in front of a judge, I'm not going to talk to a judge the same way I talk to a 15-year-old, right? You have to know who you're talking to and the way you want to talk to that person to get your point across and to make them really understand what you're trying to say,
Mm.
right? When we talk to dads and they're our age or they're older or they're younger than us, and we try to explain things to them, they know when we say the things that we're saying, they know what we're saying is
advance.
true. They know what, they know everything.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, mashallah, Arab, especially Arab, they know everything.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
So
Sorry.
now for us,
Oh, Arab knows everything.
discrimination here. Don't
I'm
listen.
Arab, so I can say that. It's all right. I'm Arab, so I can say that.
Okay.
But we think that we could talk to our kids at a certain level and treat our kids a certain way, not realizing, okay, well, he's not 5 years old anymore. He's not 10 years old. He's 15. He's a Zedeh. That's like that.
Yeah.
Our dad, like, here's the belt, and if you don't go to sleep, we're gonna beat you up. Like I'm gonna, and you're like, okay, Hadr Baba, and you go to sleep. Now it's like you have to talk to our kids and explain things to our kids,
Absolutely.
right? And the same thing applies when I'm talking to them about why we don't eat pork or why we don't date or why we don't drink alcohol, and they're like, oh well, everybody else is doing it, and why it doesn't say why in the Quran? Well, it doesn't say why about a lot of things in the Quran. If the Quran said it, we just talked to my sister the other day about this. If the Quran said everything why about why we shouldn't do things, the Quran would be like this huge book, and it would become too much for people to read. But you look at the science, and now that's confirming everything that's
In the Quran.
in the Quran,
Yeah.
and you explain to the kids like, well, what's the first thing that you do when you go to a doctor's office? Well, do you smoke or drink? Well, why do you think they ask that question? Why do you think that's the number one question they ask you?
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
Right? And the Quran says, don't do this. 1400 years, it told you this.
You're right, actually. When I go to the doctor, you have you like
drink?
wine or drink or this. No. And the doctor asked last doctor, are you okay?
Yeah.
Because I never drink.
But the same thing. How do you have fun if you don't drink? Well, I don't know. I just have fun.
Yeah. Now we speak about it. What a lot of parents, okay, when we visit the parents mostly,
Mhm.
a lot of complain, the parents.
Mhm.
Yeah. What kind of is complain and how the complaint first
Mhm.
and how to fix that complaint.
The biggest complaint that we see is the communication, right?
It's
the lack of talking. The men don't want to. The men are. We're taught to not talk.
communication.
Right? We're taught just shut up and do it, right? And into Zalem and Khalas, like don't say anything. And now it's a different time where we have to actually talk. And I don't think we know how to really communicate to our family members what we're trying to do or what we're trying to get our point across. It's very difficult. It is. It's a very hard thing to learn communication when you haven't learned that as a young individual. Right now, you're talking to a guy who's 50 years old, 55 years old. You got to talk to your kids. Well, my dad never did that. My grandfather never did that. My dad's dad never did that. And you're like, yeah, but this is a different generational time where you have to learn now how to communicate with your wife, how to communicate with your kids. And at the same time, if we have daughters, I don't know if anybody here has daughters, but I got a daughter.
I have a daughter too.
Yeah, mashallah, we say to ourselves, what kind of zelema do we want our daughter to be with? Right? And our daughters now know what a zelema is because of her father. So do you want your daughter to have a zelema like you?
Zelema is men, a man.
I forget. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like right now, I have to explain that to a lot of the fathers. When you go to these homes, and one of the dads, I told him, your daughter's watching you, the way you talk to your wife, the way you yell at your wife, the way you talk to your wife. Is that what you want for your daughter? Because that's going to be normalized.
Yeah.
That kind of he's like, well, no, I'll beat his butt if he does this to my daughter. Well, you're doing it to her mom. And your daughter's not going to know to tell you these things because she's going to say, well, I've lived 19 years under my dad's roof, and this is what I've seen. This is what I'm used to. So it becomes like a normal behavior, getting yelled at.
I have to fix myself.
Yeah, well, you have to look into yourself first.
Yeah,
and
that's myself.
And that's the hardest thing I think we as Arab men and women. I think
Please, not Arab. I saw some. Yeah. I go to the church. I go to the synagogue. We have the same problem. Honestly,
they don't do again because a lot of times when you go into these places, us humans, we have this problem where we think we're always right.
Mm.
You know, it's our way or the highway. We're right. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're talking about. And I think if we don't look into ourselves and understand, like, not everything we say is right. It's okay to ask a question to an imam. Is this haram or halal? Is it okay if I do this? Is it okay if I do that? You know, we think because we know these hadiths and mashallah, all these books, and we read, and when you talk to these guys, mashallah, they know hadiths better than you. You know, I was gonna tell one of the guys, I'm not gonna call him sheikh anymore. I'm gonna call you from now on because of the knowledge that they have. But are you twisting the words around?
I believe so. Yeah.
You know, I mean, it becomes that to that point where you're like, okay, I understand that you know and you're knowledgeable, but are you practicing what you're preaching?
Now let's be a positive here.
Mhm.
How really to encourage our household, especially our kids, regardless what age, school, for example, started.
Mhm.
How to respect, we have problem, how the kids speak to the parents,
Mhm,
like garbage, unfortunately. But really, do you think we can fix that as a parents?
I think a lot of times our kids are becoming very I don't want to say Americanized or Westernized, but the mindset that they're getting in from the social media, from the schools. I mean, a lot of times, you know, we have this problem. We think we only have this problem as Muslims that our kids are, you know, watching so much social media and they're learning how to talk through social media. And it's funny because we're not the only ones having this problem, right? It's a problem all across the board. I don't care what religion you are. One of the things I always explain to the parents is that this society that we're living in is geared on pulling us away from our deen. Doesn't matter if you're a Muslim, Christian, or Jew, it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, we all have the same kind of takedown of our religion, right? And so when you see the social media, when you see the news, when you see the movies that they're watching, even the cartoons now, the cartoons got to the point where I don't even want to watch cartoons with these kids because the cartoons now throw these things at our kids and make them feel some type of way. And people don't realize what you're seeing in your eyes really affects what's going on in your heart. What you're hearing in your ears really affects your heart and your soul. So what I tell the kids is whatever you're putting in your eyes and your ears really is going to impact the way you're feeling.
Indeed. Yeah.
Right? That's why if you look at the movies, what kind of music did they put in the background? If it's a sad movie, they're going to put sad music. If it's an exciting movie, they're going to put exciting music in the background to make you feel some type of way. The same thing applies for everything else that we're watching, we're seeing. And I tell when I deal with substance abuse, right? When we deal with alcohol, drugs and alcohol, I tell them the same thing. You're putting stuff in your body. What's that doing to you, right? When you're drinking alcohol and you're drinking gin, it's called gin.
Yeah.
What are you drinking? It says it in the name, gin. You know, and you explain to these what's alcohol? It's haram. It's bad. It's
Yeah, but good gin.
yeah. There's who here knows ever drink gin? Nobody's gonna shake their hand. Nobody's gonna raise their hand. But it's and you know, you explain to these kids, they put it in your face. They tell you in your face what you're doing, what you're putting in your
Ya
body,
Allah.
and we don't really comprehend that that's what that's doing to you, right? So the same thing when I talk about social media to the kids. Okay, what is that? What's TikTok? Think about that word, TikTok, TikTok, TikTok. What does that mean? Time. Your time is wasting. They just want you to be on there constantly. Facebook. They want your face constantly monitoring.
Oh my
You know.
God, how can
So when you look and you start to see all these different things, and you ask yourself, you know, why do they use blue as the color for the background for Facebook? Well, the color blue is what? When you look at marketing, right? When you read about marketing strategies, the blue is calming, right? They want you to stay calm. They want you to chill. They want you to just keep scrolling. They want you to keep looking. You know, it's a waste of time doing these things unless and I don't always have bad things to say about social media. I use social media a lot for the business. I use it for my job. I've had people who got fired from when they were during COVID, and I told them, let's go on YouTube and become a handyman. And I had people finding jobs and doing things and learning things. Even I've learned a lot of stuff. So you can use social media for really all the positive it has.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, there's positive and negative.
There's positive and
Yeah.
negatives. But then when you look at who are the number one people on social media who people follow compared to the Islamic scholars or even the priests and the preachers, these guys have 100,000 followers, 200,000 followers, but then you got a girl who dances who has I don't know, millions of followers.
Mhm.
So you kind of see where the stuff gets pushed on
Mhm.
our kids, on our family members, and even fathers and women and wives.
We have now 15 minutes left.
Mhm.
Very important here, how to instill or have a trust with the kids and to make our kids have a proud of themselves not be little Muslim.
So
A
I-
lot of people afraid even to be a Muslim.
Well, that's the other thing. I had a
Yeah.
big talk with a bunch of eighth graders that were going into ninth grade this year. I think one of the things that I was trying to explain to them, and a couple of kids asked that question, like, you know, it's scary right now to be called Muhammad in school or whatever.
Yeah.
And a lot of our times, even the fathers, you know, who are, you know, they go by Mike or they go by some other, you know, name because they don't want to, you know, they don't want to rock the boat or they don't want to scare people or they don't want to get asked any questions, right? And I think a lot of times we've had to explain to the kids, it's not just about being prideful or having some pride in who you are and what you are. I tell the parents, let them have some confidence in themselves,
Mhm.
right? Build up that confidence with your kid. It doesn't matter if your name's Muhammad, Abdullah, Steve, or Rick. It's who you are on the inside of how you can explain to these kids what they're going to see when they go to ninth grade, what they're going to hear when they go to ninth grade, or what they hear when they go to these public schools, and get them ready to answer those kinds of questions, especially during Ramadan, especially during when it's time to pray. Or why do you have to pray 5 times a day? Well, explain to your kid how to answer those questions,
Yes.
because then they're gonna, you know, they're gonna say something wrong. Or why don't you eat pork? Well, you know, Islam just says no. Well, why? Well, explain to them. Explain
The
to them
reason,
the
yes.
reason behind
Yeah.
it. Like, tell them, you know, because at the end of the day, when you talk to the sheikhs, when the kids go to the sheikhs, and I've seen this a lot in the masjids, you know, why can't we drink alcohol? Well, Quran says no, and that's it.
Yeah, our job is halal haram. This is our job, not
Yeah.
not to fix. Yeah,
But then you have to get that. These kids now, they need that.
indeed.
They need
Yes.
that communication. They need that conversation to really have, especially with our own kids. Because I do tell my kid, like when somebody says, "Why do you fast?" This is what you're gonna say, and then you could tell them there's science that backs up what we're saying, right? And
Yes.
and I've done that a lot of times in the Islamic schools where I've sat with the kids and said, "Look what the science says. Look what science says now about intermittent fasting. They want you to fast 3 days out of the week. Well, don't we do that anyway, Islamically speaking?"
Yeah, actually, you just mentioned school.
Mm.
Yeah. Unfortunately, in South Florida here, we don't have a masjid like Texas, for example.
Mm.
That masjid is supposed to be an institution,
Mhm.
not only masjids, Allahu Akbar, pray and leave. No, teaching the people.
Yeah,
Teaching the people. We don't have in South Florida, but it's very sad, of course.
it is.
I
And
kept some actually like MSA, for example.
Mhm.
Every month they make some events in different university, different masjid. But what is the job of the masjid?
you know what, when you go to the other locations, like you go to the Jewish community centers, you go to I said
Yeah,
the jails, but when you go to the churches, you see
yeah. See, actually, when
Yeah.
I go to the church or synagogue, I
Mm.
feel sad, honestly.
they have, you know, classes, they
Yes.
have schools, they have lectures, they have coffee shops, and
Yeah.
they have you know, they have so many things that you don't want to leave. Like the people just
Yeah.
stay there.
Even when I go to the church, they give me coffee, they give
Yeah.
me tea, with
Mhm.
candy. They try to welcome the people there.
100%.
And synagogue actually less than less than synagogue.
Yeah.
But really, I believe there's a serious problem in ours in South Florida.
Well, you think about it like this. You know, we don't go to this masjid because this masjid is an Arab masjid. We don't go to this masjid because it's a Pakistani masjid. We don't go to this masjid. So we've already done it ourselves where we became our own worst enemies, right? We segregated ourselves instead of saying we're one ummah, we're one Muslim. You know, we're Muslims. We should be together. We should help each
Yeah.
other. We should care about
Yeah,
each other.
Indeed. Yeah. But how can we get the masajid in South Florida here? To go here, mashallah, they go
Mhm.
different masjid brother here. How to make really the masjid and a constitution, teaching the people, welcoming the people, the masjid is supposed to be. I know, but how? It's hard.
It's hard.
I know.
And
But you as a
there's
specialist,
a lot of board members on here that's gonna get mad at us for the stuff we're gonna say.
yeah, I know. Some
So
board
it's-
members get angry.
They're gonna get angry.
No, but no, we have to be honest. Alhamdulillah, here, decent brother here. Alhamdulillah, we meet every Tuesday here.
Alhamdulillah.
Sometimes Saturday Jummah come here, but really, we don't care about negativity. We really have to fix the problem in our
So
community.
you gotta, okay, so you have to put
I'm
the,
talking about
Yeah,
followers
so
here. I know all over the world watching here. It's still masajid. I went to Australia, with Malaysia. I mean, many masajid, same thing. It's not only in our community here. Let's say general.
in general, I think we have a problem where we don't put the right people
And right
in the right
place.
positions to be in charge of the certain things that the masjid needs.
Yeah.
You can't put an electrician as the scholar part of the board, right? You have to have a scholar in charge of the scholaring stuff. You can't put somebody who works in IT as a community, you know, lay person that makes the events at the masjid. You need somebody who's going to be that person. You got to put a financial guy who knows his numbers in front of and the treasury. You got to put a guy who knows what he's doing out in the community, how to bring the kids in. in the board. Like you have to put certain people that have the certain
Database.
qualifications in the right spot,
Mm.
right? So when you go to a masjid, you want that person to be able to be like, okay, I'm going to make this masjid feel welcoming. I want to make that masjid feel like anybody can come. I don't care if you're Arab. I don't care if you're a Pakistani. I want everybody to come to this masjid. So when you're putting certain, when you're doing these votings and these things where you're putting certain people who have, millions of dollars, mashallah, and they have millions and millions of dollars, and you're putting them on the board because they have so much money. Okay, but what else are they bringing to the table?
Yes.
Right. And if I'm a guy with $1 million, I'm gonna say, okay, I know I can't take this money with me when I die. Let me put the money to the masjid. You guys find the right people
To run
to
them.
run the place.
Yes.
Right. But
Yeah.
I want to make sure that when I die, my money and all my investments here keep giving me the good deeds for myself when I go. And I think that's one of our biggest issues, and not just here, but all over. We put the wrong people in the right spots.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah.
Unfortunately,
But I think we can fix it.
we can, and it's a matter of breaking the old habits.
Oh.
Right? These habits have been going on for how many years?
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, some massages here in South Florida, in Tampa, for example, they
Mhm.
started.
They're starting and they're
Yeah.
doing something really, or even in Orlando when we went
In
to
Orlando too, yes.
They got that beautiful masjid up there, and I went over there, and I sat there for a couple of days, talked to some of the board members, and the stuff that they were doing is like, okay, this is cool, like this is great.
Yeah.
You go there after Maghrib, and it's mashallah, it's packed.
Mm.
How you come to a masjid out here after Maghrib, you don't see anybody. But when I went to Orlando on a random Wednesday, it was just they had a class over here, they had a couple of people over
Yeah.
there.
In Texas, they're doing this.
Yeah, and it's and they have a coffee shop in the bottom of the thing, and
Yeah.
you see how many people are coming on a random Wednesday.
Yeah.
That shows you how close people are to that masjid.
Yeah. In fact, in the followers here, in the tafsir of the Quran, every Saturday, we just almost finished Surah Al Imran. If we really, as the brother Muhammad also mentioned, if we follow the tafsir of the Quran and the hadith of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, our household will be perfect.
100%.
Why? Because everything, we have a constitution. The Quran is our constitution. If you follow and not memorizing the Quran or reading the Quran, we have to apply what we are reading in the Quran. May Allah guide us to right path. With Maghrib is very soon. If you have any question here, inshallah, to join, any comments, inshallah, Brother Muhammad will answer. Sunnah forward, also prepare yourself. Actually, Sunnah forward of a question, inshallah, for next week in my office, inshallah, next week, inshallah. Inshallah. But Brother Muhammad, summary, because we Salat al-Maghrib very soon, inshallah. We need that really soon. The school started, number one. Number two, our community, I mentioned before and more. If we are really united, we are together, we understand each other, respect each other, honor each other,
100%.
the problem is solved.
Yeah.
But I know it's not easy.
It's not easy because we've been told all these years that to separate ourselves from each other and to distance ourselves from each other. And now I start seeing it now a little bit more now than I did 5 years ago, where people are starting to understand.
Yeah, recently we're going different masajid together here. We see some changes.
I do,
Yeah,
and that's on a positive note.
Yes, we want to be positive, and
Absolutely.
to be positive is better than to be negative.
It is, and I see even the eighth, like even the kids that I see now that they all hang out with each other. The 10, 12 kids that I see going every Friday, go and play soccer together. They're all different. One is 3 black Muslims, 2 Bangladeshi guys, and they don't care.
No.
And then I see them. They stop the soccer. Hey guys, it's time for salah, and then all the kids go on the soccer field. They pray. They do their salah, and I'm like, I said, wow, this is. The kids, hey, brother Muhammad, can you lead the prayer? Okay, mashallah, I'll and then so I start to see now more difference because again, I think it's now a matter of if you get the right person in the right spots, talking to these kids about these certain things, these kids will start to say, okay, let me stop my dad from making these jokes about these type of people. Let me get my dad to go and stop making jokes about these type of people. Let me talk to my dad about, Dad, let's go play soccer together. Dad, let's go do something together. And now I got these kids going to their parents, talking to the parents about certain things. Because when you're a kid and you're telling your parents something, it means more than me or you coming to the dad and saying, or to the mom and saying these certain things. I think the kids have more of a bigger impact on what happens in the house than I think we give them credit for.
Now, may Allah guide us to right path, inshallah. But as I mentioned, our constitution is our Quran. If we are following the Quran, inshallah. So now for us, because of the Maghrib, inshallah, after 5 minutes. So inshallah, next week, bi'idhnillah, within my office بإذن الله.
We'll answer the
And
question.
yeah, and I have a question, inshallah. No, not question, inshallah, next week.
Actually,
But if I have a question here, any question, I'll comment, inshallah. Everybody happy with that? Maybe mad at you, maybe.
they're mad at me. Did I say something wrong that offended people? I apologize.
And then, all right, we'll stop here, inshallah, because the Maghrib, inshallah.
Oh, we got a
now.
question.
There's a lack in our community leaders. The father is the pillar of the house.
100%.
Indeed.
It starts with the father.
100%.
Kids are like a tree when they grow up.
100%.
So the way you take care of the tree, the way you get the fruits. Okay? If the father's not practicing Islam or if he's not following the teaching of Islam, kids learn from
Absolutely.
their parents.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Agree with you.
So, and like, for example, look at Christians, for example. They have the Pope. We don't have that in our Islam.
We don't. We don't.
That's the biggest issue. We
Yeah.
don't have leaders, like you were saying,
Mhm.
trying to guide everybody. It's like
But
we
only-
we are
But I
right
believe
now.
brother Nasser, South of Florida only, not the other state. That good, mashallah.
First is
No, well, I know what he's saying because we
It's
don't have that one
everywhere.
person to look
we
up to.
don't
Like,
have somebody
yeah.
to look up to listen.
Agree, yeah.
but see, when
Yeah.
you say stuff like that, when you and I agree with you 110%. But we also have to tell our kids we do have that person, that role model. Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is that
Oh,
that top of the
But
root.
what I'm saying is, it starts with the father.
100%. I do.
So
yeah, I agree with you.
I know a lot of friends that unfortunately they just busy making dollars.
That's
And
it.
I keep telling them, man, you got
And that's a we
you
talk about that a
to
lot.
Structure your life.
Absolutely.
This is time to work. I can understand. You got to provide.
Mhm.
This is time for the family. When you sit, like myself, I speak for myself. Dinner table, no phone.
No phones. Yeah.
Put your phone away.
100%. Yeah.
We go out to restaurant.
No
Get the
phones.
phone.
Not all the family.
The mother's and the father.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it starts with the father,
Yep.
very politely.
I have you here,
Not
you hear
fighting
brother
the
Nasser, brother sister here.
If there's a structure from the when you build a building, there's a
The
foundation.
foundation. Yeah.
There is a plan. So the same thing when you have a family, you have to have a plan.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So if the father is not strong enough to enforce that plan or to execute that plan, forget about it. There's no family structure.
Well, that's the thing too. We do premarital counseling, right? We do our premarital counseling. I talk to the soon to be husbands about the roles of a husband and the roles of a father. Let me get you ready because that's the whole point of getting married, right? To have kids. Don't just have kids just to have fun and think it's going to be an easy job. No, don't get married because you think it's going to be, a life of bliss and excitement. No, there's those battles that you're gonna have to fight. And I think when you talk to the dads, they're like, well, my dad, never did this to me, or my dad never showed me anything, or my dad never played with me, or my dad never took me places. Well, that was a different generation. Now we're talking about here, where you're right. It does a lot of times affect our fathers. And our, we don't put too much on the dads because we're like, oh, the dads are just the money makers. And I see now where a lot of the older, my age group, is trying to chase that money, and they kind of push the kids on the mom. Well, I'm just gonna make money. I'm just gonna make money. Well, yeah, but you also have to understand that you can't take that
Have a
with
role,
you.
yeah.
You have a role in the house.
Yep.
My concern is when I go sometime to the gym is why they don't have that one IT person, like you said, in the gym, that would build a nice website for the gym where the sheikh can leave lectures there,
Yeah.
leave
Yes.
Q&A. Like if I have questions, I'm not gonna drive out and after the gym.
100%.
Yeah, I agree.
If we have a website, he has a question, I have a question, he has a question, where we can go into that
Yes.
website, communicate with somebody.
Mhm.
True.
And now
100%.
with use of AI, it's easy.
100%.
But the problem starts with you, Ibrahim. When you go to the jam, people like you that are in charge supposed to talk about these things. Look, man, the Islamic Center of South Florida was supposed to have a nice, understanding, easy to use website. So if I have a question, I'm just gonna go to the website. If I can't call, I call the jam, nobody answers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if I have a question, I don't know who to ask.
100%.
So what I do is rather than bother Ibrahim at 10 o'clock at night, I just go to the website, put my answer, and see if I get it, put a question, see if I get an answer.
Yeah.
If my kid is doing something wrong and I don't know how to discipline them, and I need a right answer, how to approach it, I need that tool. We don't have it.
In South Florida.
Yeah.
In Texas, there is a lot.
And that's
In
and that-
Chicago
that's
is a lot.
what we're
Yeah.
trying. That's what we're trying to build
But
now.
But
Yeah.
when you go, people like you, when you go to South Florida, when you go to these January from place to place to place, why don't you just propose it?
We do. We do.
Believe me,
We do.
we try.
We sat on board.
For years now, 2
We
years.
just wanna collect money, collect.
We
Go
said-
ahead,
yeah,
don't
We
buy-
sat on boards.
And what are you gonna do with the money?
By the way, we
sat
do
on
that
boards.
free.
We do it
We
free.
do free, by the way, and we give the advice, and barely somebody will listen to us.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
pass on my
We
cards.
try,
You don't
we try.
understand. We get
Yeah.
phone calls. I get phone calls 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. I don't care. I don't care what time I get phone calls. I don't care what time I get emails. I'm always going to answer them.
Even
Let
for our
me
kids.
finish.
Even for our kids.
Hold on. Let me finish Sunnah for us.
Okay.
inshallah. Sunnah for us, Sister Leila. So everybody listen, inshallah. Jazakum Allah khair, inshallah. We stop here, inshallah, because Salat al-Maghrib. And next week, inshallah, 7 o'clock in our time. May Allah guide us to right path, Ya Rabbi Ameen. Subhanak Allahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakumullah.